Alright, so today we are going to be talking about media ecology. So, what is media ecology? As McLuhan states, it is a oral or literal study in grammar, rhetoric, semiotics, or systems theory, the history of philosophy and technology, post-industrial and postmodern, and pre-literate and prehistoric. So, the basic definition is it's the study of different personal and social environments created using different communication technologies. So basically, this guy was a professor. Um, he was asking a lot of questions about media and culture, and just raising a bunch of questions. And he divided the history of humans into four ages: the tribal age, the literal age, the print age, and the electronic age. So the first one is the tribal age. So according to McLuhan, the tribal village, so to speak, was an acoustic place where the senses were the most important sensory, overhearing or touch, taste, and smell. So hearing was very crucial because in wild settings it was important to hear an animal approaching rather than just relying on sight. Sound and smell were also very important. This was just crucial for surviving, obviously, back in those times when you had to fight for food and things like that. Um, and then he went on to say that the spoken word is also immediate and alive. So ideas must be constantly shared and passed down in order for the idea to stay alive because it's not material. So back then, like, you couldn't write things down. You had to literally pass on ideas and thoughts and stories orally. So the word was literally alive. And if you didn't say the word, then it would just die. Like, you have to pass it on. So then the next era was the literal age. So in the age of literacy, hearing diminished slightly in value because the sounds that people would say when they're telling stories were turned into objects that can't be seen by the eye, such as like words on paper. So in this era, the audible words didn't really hold the same amount of meaning. So he said, in an acoustic environment, taking something out of context is nearly impossible. In the age of literacy, it's a reality. So this is just something that happens is when you're reading, sometimes you take things out of context. But if someone's actually like telling you something, then you know the context, you know the situation. And reading also takes the community aspect out of communication. So when you communicate orally, you're in a group. It becomes like an event or an activity. But when you're reading, it's very individualized and isolated. So yeah, and then the next age was the print age. So this is like when the word press was invented, or the printing press. So this made access to reading way more widespread and available across the world. So it was very revolutionary. Um, and because this was a mass production of products, McLuhan called it the forerunner of the Industrial Revolution. So basically, the printing caused a lot of loneliness and isolation because you just basically had your own portable book where you could sit by yourself and just read in privacy without actually being in community and sharing stories with each other. So the last age that he talks about is the electronic age. So he states, instant communication has returned us to a pre-alphabetic oral tradition where sound and touch are more important than sight. So basically, in a way, electronic media has brought us back to the tribal age, where closed human systems no longer exist because we are always connected with technology. So kind of going into the next slide, an example of this would be social media, because we're literally always connected, just like we were in the tribal age, where we were like talking with each other, except now it's just digitally. So we have our phones and we're always connected. So he says the mass age of electronic media is becoming increasingly personalized, and we have a growing number of digital tribes. So they're no longer village tribes like in the old days. It's digitally forming around ideas, beliefs, values, interests, and other fetishes like that. So Basically, what it is we're going away from the unified, one big unified electronic tribe. So I think the future of this is like just TV and social media, obviously, um, which brings social interaction back instead of isolation. So in a way, we're not isolated anymore because we have that connection. Um, Obviously, we project our lives digitally rather than sharing real experiences with each other. And I find myself sometimes doing that, like comparing myself on social media or like trying to live your life through social media. So it does have some negative effects to it. Um, Another way I think that the future is going in terms of media is through artificial intelligence. So I think everything is just becoming automated. So we will no longer need manual labor to do various jobs or tasks. Um, so for me, like that would be plagiarism checkers. That's just something I use to save time and when I'm writing papers. And that's just like a personal example I have. Some other examples are autonomous cars. I know Google, I think, is doing that, and then AI-powered robots for assembly lines, robotic healthcare, digitized textbooks that assist with learning, and they're even doing facial analysis to see what emotions students are having in that. It's kind of interesting. And then customer service, so like robots will be answering phone calls and making appointments for you, basically. And then just to finish off, it's kind of scary, is like the bottom 90%, especially the bottom 50% of the world, in terms of income, will be badly hurt with job displacement due to this rise in AI. So, yeah, basically people will become replaced by AI, and it's just kind of a scary thought. But, yeah, that's it, and here's my works cited. So, thank you.